Okay, these are the four PSPs. The PSP 1000, also known as PSP Fat, the PSP 2000, which replaced it in, I think it was 2007, and then the PSP 3000 Slim and Light, which replaced the 2000 in 2008, and finally the PSP Go, the one that came out in 2009, which lasted a little less than 2 years because Sony actually discontinued it. So really, the only PSP that remain on the market now that people can actually get brand new is the PSP 3000. You can still actually find these if they're in stock. I know Amazon still got some. That's how I got this. I got this a couple of weeks ago. A little bit of background: PSP 1000, the original one. Most owners of the PSP, they claim this is the best one. I'm not exactly sure why. The only thing that I would say is better about this one is the fact that it's the most ergonomic. It's got more weight than the others, so it feels more comfortable in the hand, especially because it's got these backings here that stick out. But hardware-wise, this one's actually, it's got a pretty solid build quality. It's got the nice UMD disc opener thing with the springboard that it makes it seem like it's relatively built well. We've got Crisis Core in there, and it's got an infrared receiver, which was never really used. But there was a little bit of problems with it that people criticized it for. One, the Wi-Fi switch was over here on the side, so when you're playing a game, you could sometimes accidentally shut off the Wi-Fi, and that could be pretty bad if you're playing a multiplayer game. Another thing is the speakers are down at the bottom, so if you have the PSP like this, or held some weird way, you could muffle the sound, and it wouldn't sound very good. And the other thing, the most annoying thing, was that if you're playing an online game where you're using the Wi-Fi, you cannot charge the battery at all with the PSP 1000. I guess maybe if you hack it and do homebrew, you can probably enable it to do that, but I heard that that can cause it to overheat, and that's the reason why it disables the AC charging capability when you're using the Wi-Fi. And the last thing that I don't like about it is that it has 32 gigabytes of RAM. It's not, you don't really notice that much of a difference compared to the other three that all have 64 megabytes of RAM. But that's just another little thing to point out. PSP 2000 improved upon the 1000 by basically doubling the RAM and giving you the ability to output video to your television set. It allowed you to play your games in 480i. Or actually, no, take that back. It allowed you to play your games in 480p, progressive mode, and you can play your videos in either interlace or progressive. PSP 3000 improved upon the 2000 because it allows you to actually play your games in 480i. So if you still have an old, big CRT television set, 4x3, this one allows you to play your games in the original 480i resolution, interlaced mode. 3000, slightly different from the other ones in terms of the appearance on the back, as well as the front. The front has a different type of screen. It's supposed to be more, it has a higher contrast ratio, a higher response time, but it had these weird interlacing issues, these scan line issues. So let me see if I can demo these for you. If we, they don't really show up, at least on this camera, but I have it set to wide, so it's more noticeable. 2000. You definitely noticed less ghosting with this screen compared to the other two screens, the older screens. So that's because it's got a faster response time. So the 3000 overall is the best PSP in terms of what it's capable of. It's got your UMD drive, so you can play all your UMD games, you can play all your downloadable games, and at first I didn't like the screen because of the interlacing issues, but I got used to it, and I don't really notice it that much anymore. And I think it's better. It also includes the addition of a built-in microphone, So if you use Skype on this thing or a game that has in-game voice chat, you don't need to buy that little headset with the microphone for the PSP that you had to do for the 1000 and 2000 to be able to talk on this one. So this one's actually a pretty significant improvement on over the 1000 and the 2000. The PSP Go, the last one, is the most different PSP. It obviously looks the most different in form factor. It keeps the built-in microphone that the 3000 had, but unlike the 3000, it removed the UMD drive, so you lost the ability to play all your UMD games. The PSP Go, in my opinion, was actually targeted to consumers who did not already have a PSP and were trying to get into the portable market, portable gaming. And yeah, it comes with 16 gigabytes of built-in flash memory, as well as an M2 expansion slot right here. This particular one that I have right here has a 16 gigabyte M2, so that the combined total of storage space is about 32 gigabytes. And all of these other three PSPs right here, they all are equipped with 32 gigabytes of memory. I'm using I'll take this one out and show you. I've got one of these. I actually have three of these, one for each of the PSPs. These are a combination one where they've got like these SanDisk 16 gigabyte micro SD cards, and you combine two of them together. You format this in the PSP, and you get a total of like 32 gigabytes. It says it's like 29, but it's really 32. If you look it up in Windows, you'll see. PSP Go, I'm going to do a separate video on that one, showing why that one's actually my favorite one out of the four. I know it doesn't have the UMD drive, and that's really the only bad thing about it. The form factor, it's not as comfortable to play like this compared to the PSP 1000, but I think it's no worse than using the 3000. But there's another reason why I still think this one's better, and mainly it's because of the docking station right there. So you can actually connect a Bluetooth. You can connect it to the dock like that, and you can switch the output to a television, and you can use your PSP 1000, 2000, 3000 AC adapter to charge this through the dock to be outputting video, and you can be playing the games on your PS3 controller because the PSP Go supports Bluetooth. And that's actually, to be honest, that's how I play my PSP games now. I use the Go, and I use the PS3 controller in the dock. Yes, that's sounds like a very complicated setup, but it's actually much better if you want to be playing PSP games for long periods of time. Unless you're on the go, of course. That's pretty much it. That's the four PSPs, and it was just a quick overview.